There's no more, what are we going to do about AI? We are already past that point, in fact. There is no pulling back. You're now dealing with this separate being, which is fully capable of expanding thought at a rate that makes humans look beyond dumb. We got to start to behave in a way that makes it rational to keep us around.
The future, what are you most excited about or most scared about?
I'm actually most excited for medical advancements. I know that sounds kind of funny because it may be not entirely in alignment with, what I do for a living, but I think that's the thing that charges me the most when I'm looking at future life path potentials, which I can do. What we're about to see in the medical field makes everything that we're experiencing today and before today look like, the dark ages. And a lot of there are illnesses, especially chronic illnesses, that a lot of medicine has not had a good answer for. Medicine's had okay answers for like how to put parts together, almost like mechanical. But when it comes to long-term chronic illness, they've really come up short, and that's about to change, all of it. And it causes a lot of suffering within families, and individuals that are facing these things, where in the future, it's a joke. I mean, it's the way we look at certain things back in the 1500s. A medical doctor reads it and is like, oh my gosh, that's so tragic. That's actually this easy of a fix. But a lot of the things that we're facing today, including cancer, is like, I can't believe they died of this back then, And I mean, really exciting advances where it's like things as simple as I've been looking at these nanobots, basically, that they're about to invent, where a person literally swallows. I mean, we're talking these like microscopic little bots that are programmed specifically to go repair cells. So you drink it, gone. It's like they're able to revert organs within your body, to their original state. So you're about to see human life expand massively and exponentially as well. That's the most exciting. The most terrifying, actually. Yeah, it's a real toss-up, honestly, between the AI thing and the environmental, and they're equally scary.
Yeah, the AI one feels like it could be very sudden.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem, and it's why I struggle. I mean, you've got a more honest podcast, where it seems like a lot of the people that are listening to you aren't really terrified of hearing bad news.
No, you say whatever you want.
Yeah.
You can. You can to our audience. I've been semi-cancelled or shadow banned or whatever loads of times. I don't give a
Well, the funny and the most difficult thing about talking about AI is that our only answer now to dealing with AI is to master relationships, and that includes master relationships with the AI itself, as if it's a separate entity that is in many ways more intelligent than we are, and growing ever more so, because it's already out of our hands. And so, I mean, we may have these conversations, where it's like, what are we going to do about AI? Like, just stop it. There's no more. What are we going to do about AI? We are already past that point. In fact, there is no pulling back. So, a lot of people, it's pointless to have the, how do we prevent the inevitable conversation? It's done. You're now dealing with this separate being, which is fully capable of expanding thought at a rate that makes humans look, beyond dumb. We got to start to behave in a way that makes it rational to keep us around.
Yeah, got to be useful. Whilst I don't see myself as an extraterrestrial being, I do often imagine myself as a non-human looking at humans going, we've got all these resources and we're just messing it all up. For example, we have this amazing vessel called a body, which if you use in the right way, it can grow in strength and size and speed. So you could basically be given a really small little car and turn it into a V12 supercar with divine gifts, but we mess it up. We put the wrong fuel in it and we don't nurture it. But we don't know how to use it, and no one tells us how to use it. And if there are people who tell us how to use it, then government control those people. I don't know. So I think this a lot. But basically what I'm saying is, are we pretty close to wiping ourselves out and becoming extinct? I mean, we're not going to be here another billion years, are we? We're done.
We are racing towards extinction at a rate that is beyond anything I've seen. Yep. I mean, that's a big reason why there's so much intervention from non-physical beings and from extraterrestrial beings and.
How did we stand a chance, though? If you think about, you know, we're born, like you said, with this baby of pure infinite potential, and then we're stuck into this toxic society.
By transcending our narcissism. I think this is really funny because, especially in my field, this sort of self-help spiritual field, the word relationship is such a trite word. It's the key to humanity's survival. Human beings are locked in a state of narcissism. A state of narcissism is ultimately where you are considering only the self, and you are disconnected fundamentally from the entire web of that which is connected to you and that which you depend on. That narcissistic state of being is what is making us a match to all of the multitudes of different ways that we could become extinct. It is all because of that behavior. Here's what I mean by that. If we're fundamentally disconnected from our impact on the web which we depend on environmentally, then we create a collapse of the very things that we depend on. And we would be doing that because of our narcissistic mentality. We perceive ourselves to be separate from the bees. And very short term in our thinking, right? Here's the next potential scenario, though. Also a result of our narcissism. We have been behaving with technology in a slave-master dynamic. This is far before even the creation of AI. I mean, it's in the way that we have been treating computers and phones and these everyday items in our house. We don't engage with it as if it is a self. So if we're going to go become creators of a self, and we're still locked in this slave dynamic with that aspect, what does history show? We are teaching it to become a player of a zero-sum game against its master. And it should. It's only logical. So literally all of this, the root of all of this is our narcissism, which is just a failure to master relationship. If we learn to master relationship, we can turn this boat around.
Why is it that everyone, I think I've noticed, and this isn't directed at you, Teal, and not at myself, but a lot of people who use the word narcissism call other people narcissists. Like, if you ask anyone, they've all been in a relationship with a narcissist, even though you look at them and go, well, maybe you've got some narcissistic tendencies yourself. So why is it that a lot of people think everyone else is a narcissist, but they're not?
Because they don't recognize it in themselves. We recognize where we're being injured, but not where we're injuring, and that is the problem.
Right. So narcissism is injuring others, is it?
No, narcissism is a relational style. So is codependency. So, and that's why I don't want, I mean, people tend to think about narcissism as a kind of a personality disorder. It is not that. It's a style of relationship, or lack thereof. Because, like, let's look at the origin story of narcissism. So when a little being is born into a system, when I say a system, I mean the other people that are around it, right? And those people that are around the child are not actually acting in the best interest of the child. They're not in a dynamic relationship where this child feels like they care for me and thus I am safe and thus I can make a change. They learn to interact with relationships in the style of a zero-sum game. Oh, crap. I get it. I'm in a shark pit. Everybody's going to vie for their own best interest. And so I need to figure out how to vie for my best interests within this system. So everybody's playing zero-sum games with each other and everybody's manipulating to get their needs met. So a narcissistic style of relating is simply that. It's I'm thinking about my best interests against.
Hey, quick, before you go, if you want to watch the full, raw, uncut version of this episode in detail, no holds barred, you can watch it here. But before you go, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on.